Well, it's been quite a while since I've uploaded anything, so I thought I'd show the viewers my latest project here. I got a aftermarket Pioneer 8-track player for my car. Got a new belt on the 8-track player, got that working. And I got this cheap little $13 Bluetooth interrupt module here from eBay to add Bluetooth to it. This cuts into the audio signal between the preamp board and the volume control whenever there's no Bluetooth audio playing, or the Bluetooth module doesn't have power. The signal from the radio and the 8-track player will just pass right through it, and whenever I pair up a device and start playing music, it'll come on and cut off the signal from the radio, and will pass Bluetooth audio to the main amplifier. I'm going to have this right now just for test. I got it wired into the power going into the radio, but I'm going to tap into the power on the 8-track radio changeover switch, so that whenever I insert an 8-track cartridge, it'll cut off power to this module and will allow the 8-track to play. Now, this is just the prototyping phase. I got all kinds of wires cut in here, where I spent several days just clipping wires, trying to figure out where I can tap in for an audio signal. And the only place I found was these two wires here coming from the preamp board to the volume control. And the consequence of this is whenever is on the Bluetooth, the tone controls and balance control are not going to work. I'll only have the volume control, because this radio has separate bass and treble controls, and for balance you pull out the volume knob and turn it. There is no fader because this radio only has 2 speaker outputs, which I took care of that by getting an external fader knob that mounts under the dash. So I'm going to get to work soldering all these wires back up, getting this all put back together, and seeing what we got. Well, here's progress. I got all the wires soldered back. I didn't have any heat shrink tubing small enough for these tiny wires, so I just sort of, if you can see that, just sort of taped them up and heat shrinked over the tape. I've got the Bluetooth module in between the preamp board up here and the volume control. On these Pioneers, I couldn't find any service documentation or any kind of schematics or anything, so I was pretty much just on my own, having to figure out where to tap in for a line level signal. And only thing I could find really usable was at the volume control, which, it does work, but if you tap in there, you lose the bass, treble, and balance controls, and you only get just the volume control. The way I've got this installed, the input is from the output board, the output is to the volume control, and I've got the power wire connected to the 8-track switch, so that whenever I insert an 8-track, it cuts power to this module. So here's the FM radio working. Let's see if I can get it tuned in better. Bass. Treble. Put that tuning knob back on. It's wanting to come off. The little metal retaining ring is broken out of there, is missing out of there, I mean. Now I'm filming this with my crappy old HTC One M8 Android phone because I'm using my iPhone for the Bluetooth source. So turn my Bluetooth on. This camera really sucks on this HTC One. Connect to Bluetooth audio. As soon as it connects, the radio cuts off. Back here, yeah, we got something queued up already. So there we are, streaming Bluetooth to a vintage 8-track radio using one of these $15 Bluetooth interrupt modules from eBay. Now, let's try an 8-track. Now, I did service this cartridge. I put in a new foam pressure pad and a new foil splice. I've also cleaned the head, capstan, and track change switch in there. Stick in an 8-track. I insert an 8-track, it kills power to the Bluetooth module, so my phone unpairs from it, and the 8-track plays. And now if I start this back up playing, because as soon as it disconnected, this automatically unpaired. If I hit play, now it's playing out of my phone. And this is not my recording on this 8-track, by the way. This is just as I found it at the local antique store. To change programs manually, you push in the volume knob. Bluetooth module comes back on, phone is repaired. Now we're playing. As soon as you kill power to the radio, phone unpairs, turn it back on. It automatically repairs. And then to get the radio back, just turn off your Bluetooth. Reconnect, cuts off. And there we have it. Now get this all back together. Now, you don't want to put this Bluetooth module inside the radio chassis because the radio chassis is all metal. I mean, that would be acceptable if you were putting it in a home stereo, but I'm going to put the casing back on the radio and mount this module to the outside of the chassis with some kind of a cover over it. Well, there we have it, all back together. Finally, at last. This thing's been in pieces all over my kitchen for several weeks now. And this is what I did with the Bluetooth module to make sure it would get the best reception. I just used the pliers on my multi-tool here to tear little notches in the metal casing here to route the wires on this side, the back side here for the power and input wires. Oh, didn't mean to zoom in. I accidentally hit the slider controls on this phone. And then this side tore a little notch there for the output wire, and just used some 3M double-sided foam mounting tape to stick it to the side of the radio after cleaning the side of the radio as best I could with rubbing alcohol. And then just to give it a little protection, I used some of that double-sided tape to just stick the little anti-static plastic baggie that the module came in over top of it. Now, I'm not too worried about it because it's going to be inside the dash of the car anyway, where it's not going to be susceptible to getting hit with anything. And now, yeah, I know it's not a very professional job, but that's not what I was really going for. Just wanted something that would work. Just wanted to give this radio Bluetooth while not losing any of its original functionality, because as long as my phone isn't paired up to it, it works normally. Is the FM radio. The AM doesn't work, not because of an electrical problem, but because of a mechanical problem. The FM AM switch is stuck on FM, which I really don't care because I rarely ever listen to the radio anyway. I especially don't ever listen to AM. Bass, treble, and for the balance, you pull the volume out and turn. Oh, try not to turn the bass control when you do it. Left. Right. And the Bluetooth is off because, again, I wired it to the tape switch in the 8-track mechanism so that whenever you insert an 8-track, it cuts power to the module. And when you pull the cartridge out, you can see the lights on the Bluetooth module. We're now back to radio. I'll demonstrate the Bluetooth one more time. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I got a repair. Oh, Bluetooth is off. On iPhone, anytime you turn off your Bluetooth, it unpairs whatever you were paired to. Okay, module just switched over. Got no audio. Pull the music back up. Bass and treble do nothing. And neither does the balance control. Yep, no, doesn't do anything. but at least we still got volume. And I'm not sure if the Apple Music player has an equalizer. Maybe in sound settings. I don't see any option for an equalizer. Here's music settings. Oh, there is an EQ. Okay. Get a little more boom. A little less boom. Loudness. Doesn't give you a graphical EQ, just preset settings. But yeah, you can't use the bass and treble controls, but at least you can use the EQ on the phone. Okay, well, that wraps it up for the modification of this Pioneer TP-9006 AM/FM 8-track player with Bluetooth now. And like I said, I put a new belt on the 8-track player, cleaned the heads, cleaned the changeover switch, and cleaned the cap stand. So 8-track's working pretty good. So the next project will be installing it in the car, although I don't know when that's going to be happening because I'm going to be installing this with a 4-channel amp and subwoofer, and I cannot afford those things right now. But more to come later.